I was watching the trailer and I'm like, how would I explain this to people? How do you explain it when people ask you about the film?
The movie is about this family, this mother and the two sons, living outside of the world. The world has been destroyed by some evil force that's still lurking for them and still waiting for them in the woods. But as long as they stay in the house, as long as they stay connected to the house with that rope, they will be safe. But the evil is very patient and very smart and will use a lot of different technique to just lure you off the rope.
That's much better than what I would have done. You have more practice. Tell me what it was like working with Halle and the rest of the cast.
Working with Halle was such an honor and a privilege. I have to say that from the moment we met, and she told me, I want to be sure that we're not going to compromise on the complexity of the character, that we're going to really explore and even push further that duality between this loving mother and the darkness that she's carrying as well. I was like, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. And since that moment to tonight, we've been working together, sharing the same vision. And that's really what matters the most when you tell stories like that.
That's awesome. And I mean, this festival is pretty much like I feel like bread and butter, your genre. Talk to me just about how awesome it is to have it here.
I love Fantastic Fest. I unfortunately have been only once here, but like 10 years ago. And I have to say that since that first time, I just was like looking for the opportunity to come back. So now, here we are with a movie that I hope going to scare all the audiences.
How's it compare from when you were here last time so far? I mean, I know you probably been here for a bit.
I just arrived.
Yeah.
So
jury's out. We'll see.
so far it's way harder.
Oh yes, well,
that's the difference.
Yeah. Well, congrats on the film. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
This movie is so interesting. I was like reading the synopsis, and I was like, how would you describe how you were able to come up with the idea for it?
Oh well, so I write with a partner, Casey Colgan, who's not here, but because we're two, it's not going to be that we come up with a story from personal lived experience, right? Because we're two people, so it starts conceptually. It starts with an idea, like a concept, like what if there was a house and a family living in a house and an evil force outside the house that was after them, but the house was safe. Like the evil didn't have jurisdiction in the house, almost like an embassy. At one point we were kind of thinking it was like, oh, maybe it's an embassy in hell, and like the devil can't come in. So that was the idea, and then we're like, okay, but they do need to leave the house to go work the land. And we abandoned the idea of it being in hell. Like we wanted them to be alive because they need to survive. It's a survival horror as well, right? So they need to go work the land. So like, oh, but they can still keep that protection of the house if they tie ropes around their waist to keep them attached to the house, So yeah, it starts with the concept, but then once we get the concept down, then it becomes all about the characters and, like I was saying before, the heart and the ideas and the themes and this psychological kind of and moral complexity, Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would never really think that that's how you kind of like come together for a movie.
For us,
so many layers and stuff.
Yeah, it always begins with like a what if.
Yeah. And premiering here at Fantastic Fest here in Austin.
Yeah.
In front of an audience, like that's got to be pretty cool.
Oh man, I'm so excited. I mean, we had the premiere in New York, which was definitely something, definitely an experience, and this is going to be a different vibe, I know, but yeah, it's really cool. My first time in Austin, first time in Texas, but I got here yesterday and I'm instantly in love.
Are you going to be able to do some things around town, or?
Yeah, hopefully. I'm only here for 2 nights, but I have to come back for sure. I have to come back.
Well, I hope you come back.
Oh, I definitely will. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I read in our interview that you did, and you were talking about how you had to come up with this elaborate backstory for your character because it really isn't one that's sort of portrayed on screen. Is that sort of the first time you had to do that in a character?
Oh, God, no. You always have to create a backstory for your character. I mean, that's acting 101. You have to understand who your character is. Even if it's never on the page, you have to have a place of, where you're starting from, what your character is, who you are. That informs what you do, what you say, how you feel about every scene and everybody in the movie. So you always have to have a backstory. So this was no different.
Was there anything that you'd come up with that you decided that wasn't going to be good for your character?
Thank you so much.
If it's not good for my character, I don't use it.
No, we're good. So having it here premiere at Fantastic Fest, or having it show here at Fantastic Fest, like, how's it? Have you been to Austin before?
No, this is my first time. I got some good Texas barbecue today. which is really good, but it's my first time in Austin.
Well, I hope you get to enjoy everything. Congratulations on the film.
I hope so. Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. You too.
Producing with Halle, talk to me about what it was about this film that kind of drew you to it.
Well, first of all, the first time I read it, all my power went out in my house at the scariest moment in the movie. So I was like, this is a sign. But I was both terrified, and then I was like, this must be a really good sign that we must be involved in this movie when the power goes out. But no, I just, it was an undeniable piece of material for me. I connected with it on such a visceral level, and I love the idea, because Halle and I are really focused on telling stories that start a conversation and portray characters that are, very complex, multifaceted individuals. And I love the idea of Halle being able to lean into all the colors that she's able to bring to a performance with this very complicated, sort of enigmatic woman who's battling both demons inside and externally. And I just said, there's no way we can't do this. So I was drawn to the unusual nature of the story and the kind of deeper message behind it.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned it, is that, those are the kind of projects that you guys are interested in.
Yes, very much so.
Do you guys have a lot of other ones on the horizon?
We do. Yeah, we have a really exciting one coming up in February, March called The Process, which is a psychological thriller, a little bit more of a drama than this one is, but a really intense kind of like mind-bending movie that deals with a landmark-esque form in which a couple gets their entire relationship and themselves as individuals sort of broken into pieces by an enigmatic guru. So that's a very exciting one we have coming up with Don Cheadle and Garrett Hedlund. And we have another exciting movie with Angelina Jolie and Halle starring that we're producing with RK Films, and that's about two contract killers that get hired to take each other out that have never met before and kind of become unlikely begrudging friends along the way. So
Interesting slate. I love it.
yeah.
And you guys are here in Austin, showing the film. I know you
Yes.
guys had a premiere in New York.
We did.
What is it like to have, film premiere here? Like at a festival, it's a little bit sort of like more genre-esque.
Well, for me, it's great because I'm from Texas. So for me, it feels like coming home. I love the city. I love the people. I love the ambiance. I love the music. And to be able to have the core audience embrace this movie, to have 6 theaters jam-packed full of people just dying to see it, we feel super celebrated and really welcomed, and it's a total honor to be here.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations on the film.
Thank you so much. Really nice to meet you.